Alrighty, this presentation is on the waste plan developed for Lincoln Electrical Systems. This is Ian Ritchie presenting, and I collaborated on this presentation with Sawyer. Our client is Katie. Alright, we worked out at the Terry Bundy generation plant for Lincoln Electrical Systems, and currently their waste is untracked, which means they don't really have an understanding of what type of waste they are producing in their trash, and they don't have any type of plan to deal with the waste that they are producing. Looking down the line, that could cause a lot of issues not understanding what type of waste you're producing. First of all, in the long run, it can be costly to the company, whether that's because they're throwing away things they shouldn't, or the waste that they produced created an economic or environmental disaster. So the challenge for us was to develop an understanding of what type of waste the Terry Bundy plant is producing and provide an effective strategy and plan for them so they can reduce their waste and be able to manage what they are producing more effectively, to be more eco-friendly and decrease their cost both for themselves and their customers. So a little bit of background information on waste disposal. The Resource Solution Recovery Act was put into effect in 1976 and focused on protecting human health in addition to the environment from the hazards of waste disposal, and took a look at conserving energy and natural resources and reducing the overall amount of waste that we are producing, and making sure the waste that we do produce is done so in an environmental manner. Just kind of give an example of how waste management can help with a lot of things. If you look at incineration, that reduces the amount of waste volume by 90%, and the heat that you use to reduce the waste can be used to create electricity. And overall, that cuts down on the landfill space needed and overall emissions created. Looking at a 40 to 50 year lifespan, incinerators will be cost effective. So that little bit of background information and talking with our client, Katie, we developed a game plan on how to build an understanding of what type of waste is being produced and how to effectively manage that. So first of all, we went out to the generation plant and conducted a waste audit. And prior to doing that, we also took a tour of the plant so we could kind of get an understanding of what type of waste is being produced and where everything is going. Take a look at what the trash cans look like, where the hazardous material is going, etc. And once we did that waste audit, we deciphered the records to kind of get a better understanding of what type of waste is being produced and how it's being disposed of specifically. After that, we did a whole bunch of research on existing waste plans across the Midwest and the globe to kind of give an understanding of what different types of companies are doing within both their offices and industrially on how to manage waste that they produce. And then we developed a plan for LES so they can effectively reduce the waste that they produce. So talking with Katie, she was able to provide us a lot of information up front before we went out to do our waste audit. Found out that a lot of their hazardous material is already accounted for and being properly disposed of or recycled through other companies other than like a trash facility, such as their batteries. Yeah, they've got essentially a giant room full of batteries, and they get sent to a company that disposes of them. So that's not being put into our waste audit because it already has a legal path that it's following. A couple other examples is they recently turned over all their computer systems, so they had a lot of computers that they were getting rid of. That was all being sent off to a e-waste company. They also produce a little bit of oil, and as they slowly use up that oil, that's also being um, sent off to a company that deals with oil. So, and again, just kind of give an example of the things that we're looking at. Like aerosol cans, they already had a device out on site for disposing of aerosol cans properly, so those were not the types of material that we were finding in their waste, as they were already being disposed of. I also got an example of the special waste disposal permit that LES owns to get rid of that special waste that they are producing. Overall, they don't produce a whole lot of special waste. It's a pretty low waste facility. The only waste that they're producing is from the trucks they drive around when they change the oil. That's used oil that's being produced in other odds and ends such as that. Now, kind of diving into the waste that is being thrown into their trash can and their recycling bin every week. We've got some examples of this. So in the break room, they had a bunch of crushed cans, a lot of styrofoam paper from their break room as well. A lot of people using silverware and plates that were not reusable. And then taking a look on the far left, we got an image of what their recycling bin looks like. It had a lot of cardboard boxes, and despite the recycling, being able to accept other types of recycling, there wasn't a lot in there other than cardboard, so the recyclables that they were creating were not getting into that recycling bin. Alright, so here are the breakdowns of what we found on our waste audit. Unfortunately, we were only able to do one waste audit. The second waste audit was planned for in March, and due to COVID-19, they shut down their plant to any guests and everything, so we were not able to get anything but just a preliminary waste audit. And unfortunately, that preliminary waste audit was percentage based, and we did not mass out every category. In total, on the day that we went out, we collected 62.6 pounds. A lot of that being paper, food waste, plastic, styrofoam, and cardboard. And there was a couple other odds and ends. There was a large filter that was lumped into our other category that accounted for a lot of the weight, even though it was one item. It was, I think, 20 pounds. Another example of the waste that we found in the waste audit, we've got a graph breaking out exactly what was produced by pounds for each category. And we've got a pie graph kind of breaking down what that percentage was looking like. So overall, our big takeaway was there was a lot of recyclables that were going into the waste that could be instead diverted to their recycling bin. So really want them to focus on reducing the waste being produced in their offices. A lot of paper, in their break room. I talked about this a little earlier with that photo. There's a lot of styrofoam and napkins that were being thrown away when instead you could be using plates and silverware that are reusable. So reducing that waste produced in the office and increasing your recycling. So a lot of paper that does have to be produced, make sure that gets into the recycling bin instead of the waste. Ways that can be done is promoting a recycling culture. So having just like a quick meeting with the employees and ensuring that it's something that's valued within the company and promoting that recycling culture. In addition, making it easier for the employees to recycle, so adding more bins around the building um, to recycle in, making sure that there's a recycling bin next to every single trash can. So every time you go to throw something away, you don't have to walk further to get to a recycling bin. All you have to do is walk to a spot that there is a bin to dispose of your waste. All right, we've got annotated bibliography from Sawyer and myself. And finally, we'd like to thank Katie and her colleagues for all the help they've provided and the guidance throughout this entire project. They provided a lot of information for us out at the plant, gave us a lot of time to tour the plant. In addition, the effective communication through the change in classroom with COVID-19. So thank you.